Professor Velterra adjusted her translation matrix as she watched the diverse group of alien students settle into their seats aboard the research vessel Academic Pursuit. The interspecies exchange program had been running for 2 years now, but this was the first time they'd attempted a field study to what the humans called a Class 12 Deathworld. "Today we will observe Earth," she announced, her crystalline voice resonating through the chamber. "As you know from your xenobiology courses, humans are classified as an extreme outlier species. We will maintain a safe distance of 3 million kilometers." Zixel, a young Etherian whose gossamer wings shimmered with curiosity, raised a tentacle. "Professor, why do humans call their own world a death world? Surely they're exaggerating." The professor's optical sensors dimmed with what might have been concern. "Class, before we begin observations, I must stress that Earth is the only known world where the dominant species actively seeks danger for entertainment. Let us begin with their recreational activities." The main display flickered to life, showing a human figure suspended thousands of meters above the ground, falling freely with only a fabric parachute. The Glorthak student, Brennix, immediately began molting from shock, his scales clattering to the floor. "This is called skydiving," Professor Velterra explained. "Humans voluntarily leap from aircraft at terminal velocity. For fun." But why?" whispered Lyanna, a seraphim whose 4 hearts were beating so rapidly her bioluminescent patches strobed in distress. "Their fragile bodies would shatter on impact." "Precisely the point," the professor replied. "They have calculated the exact margin of error that allows survival. Now, observe this." The display shifted to show a human riding a wooden board down a liquid mountain of water, performing aerial maneuvers above a crushing wall of H2O that could easily pulverize most species' exoskeletons. "Surfing," Professor Velterra noted. "They harness the kinetic energy of their planet's violent oceans for recreation." Kethmore, whose people had evolved in the gentle thermal vents of their homeworld, began hyperventilating. "Their oceans are filled with predators. I've read the reports, creatures called sharks with razor-sharp teeth and jellyfish that can kill with a touch." "Indeed. Yet humans swim with these creatures willingly. But perhaps most disturbing is what they call extreme sports." The display showed a human launching himself off a cliff face attached only by an elastic cord. "This is bungee jumping. They calculate the precise length of rope needed to stop just short of death." The classroom erupted in alarmed chittering and concerned harmonics. Zixel's wings had gone completely transparent with fear. "Professor," stammered Velnix, the Curvanian exchange student, "surely their government regulates such insanity?" "On the contrary," Professor Velterra replied, pulling up another display. "Their governments often sponsor it. Observe the Olympics. Humans from across their world gather to compete in increasingly dangerous activities. Some involve projectiles moving at lethal velocities, others require them to fight each other in sanctioned combat." The display showed a human figure skating on frozen water while performing aerial rotations, followed by another human lifting weights that would crush most species' bone structures. "But why?" Lyanna pleaded. "Why would an entire species be so suicidal?" Professor Velterra suggested. "This is what makes them unique. Earth's environment is so hostile that only the most adaptable, the most reckless, the most stubborn creatures could survive. Their planet regularly attempts to kill them through atmospheric storms, seismic activity, and temperature extremes. They have developed what they call adrenaline, a biochemical that makes them actively seek dangerous situations." She paused, letting the implications sink in. "Class, humans don't just survive on a death world. They thrive on it. They've turned survival into an art form, competition into a celebration of risk-taking. They are not merely adapted to danger, they are addicted to it." Brennix raised a trembling claw. "Professor, how do they function in galactic society? How do they interact with peaceful species?" The professor's optical sensors flickered with what might have been amusement. "Very carefully, Brennix. Very carefully. They have something called diplomacy, which is essentially the art of channeling their survival instincts into negotiation. They're quite good at it, actually. After all, if you can survive your own planet, dealing with other species is relatively simple." As the academic pursuit maintained its safe distance, the students watched in horrified fascination as more humans appeared on the display, climbing vertical rock faces, racing motorized vehicles at impossible speeds, and diving into underwater caves. "Remember," Professor Velterra concluded, "humans are our allies. But never forget they are Deathworlders. They do not fear death. They dance with it. The classroom fell silent, save for the nervous clicking of mandibles and the flutter of frightened wings.